This week on 3D Printed Soup, Blood Bowl pitch tiles. They're like dungeon tiles, but for Blood Bowl. That's right after this. Hello fellow makers and welcome back to 3D Printed Soup. Now I haven't done a 3D printed dungeon tile set in ages, and seeing that gets the most likes and most watches, you guys must like them. So I'm going to do myself a nice set of dungeon tiles this week. However, there's a difference with these ones. I have been commissioned to make them. Guys contacted me and said he would like a set of Blood Bowl dungeon tiles. Now if you don't know, Blood Bowl is a game by Games Workshop, came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and basically it was a twisted American football. You had two teams, but the teams were made up of fantasy creatures, whether they were Ents or elves or orcs or dwarves or the undead or a dozen other creatures. You basically got a team of them and they played American football violently. In fact, so violently half the teams usually died, and instead of a water boy you had a goblin running around picking up severed heads and arms off the pitch so it didn't get in the way of the second half. It was a really good game, and it got re-released 2012, 2015 I think. I'm not quite sure when, but they released a load more stuff, and yeah, it looks absolutely great, but the pitch is still a flat cardboard pitch. However, there's a load of enterprising people out there who have made really cool 3D printable tiles to make a full Blood Bowl pitch. Now I'm going to make the full pitch and the stands and the vendors and the goals and everything over the next couple of weeks, but today I'm just going to start off with doing a few sample tiles to see how these things print and how they paint. Depending on how many of you like this and click the subscribe button, I might do the entire thing in a video. I'm going to do the whole thing anyway because, hey, it's a commission and 3D printing is expensive. But if you guys like, subscribe, etc., I'll do a video series on the whole thing and make an awesome 3D printed painted Blood Bowl pitch. It's going to look great. So without further ado, let's get on and print ourselves some really cool Blood Bowl game dungeon tile things. They look great. It's going to be brilliant. Let's get on and do this. Okay, with those printed, let's remove some of the supports. Now these things print well without supports, but I thought I'd print the first one with supports just to see how it comes out. And yeah, these things just pop out without any thought whatsoever. Didn't even need to use the clippers, which is perfect. And yeah, the level of detail on these things is lovely. What I've done is I've just basically painted in the blacks, all the sections which I think will be black, like the little pluses which indicate where the squares start and finish, the holes in the pitch as well, and also I have done the edges. Then I just went over it with some brown skeleton horde contrast paint and then used some Adrax Earthshade in the cracks just to bring out the shadows. And now I'm just highlighting this piece of rope that dangles off the pitch into oblivion at the bottom there. And just highlight that and make that stand out as a detail. Here we go. And then I've got a mast here, also a piece of wood, which I'm going to paint with a dark wood colour. And then I'll paint over that with some highlights and maybe some contrast paint to bring out the wood effect on that. And with the shaft done, I'm just going to paint the other end of it, which is under that sort of ropey bit there. Just carefully add the brown to that. There we go. Now you notice that on the corner here there's some metal. This is a grating which takes up the whole middle section of the pitch. And yeah, I'm going to go over this with some Balthazar Gold, which is a Sistel colour paint. And when I've done that, I'm going to go over it with Probably some brown contrast as well, and a piece of Adrak Surf Shade again, just to bring out the details. But yeah, there's lovely gold colour under it, and then I can dirty it up in a minute with some washes. Next up, I've got this lovely grating. Now, the pitch has all kinds of dangers in it, and this particular one, there's a grating which has got a load of tentacles and slime underneath it, which is actually reaching its way up and actually lifting the grate so it can drag down unaware players into the depths. So I'm going to go over it with some lovely orky contrast paints. And just get in the little gaps here. Use a slightly thinner brush just so I can go in the edges. There we go, and do some nice thick coats of the contrast paint. Contrast paint works best if you do sort of thick coats with it because it gets in all the lovely cracks. And just paint this tentacle coming through here, lifting the grate. Don't worry if you get any on the actual grate itself because you can then just repaint it over the edge and then paint it the metal colour later, and that won't be a problem. Okay, last little bit here and then we'll move on to the metallics. Now, as earlier, I have painted this particular section with the skeleton horde, and it's got a little socket here. Just push the grating and creature under the grating down into it, and it makes this lovely set piece basically for players to avoid if they can. And there's also another one on the other side which has got the Kraken's tentacles all coming out all over the place. So yeah, you want to get nowhere near this when you're playing the game. Well, yeah, these things print really, really well. Let's start off with the basic ones. These are your standard dungeon tiles. They're made out of wooden planks. It sort of makes a sort of a deck. I think this is supposed to be on a boat or something because there's all kinds of stuff underneath it. But yeah, it looks really, really awesome. You've got planks, you've got rivets, you've got the odd hole and the odd sort of gap between them. But not a lot of interest. These are just your basic standard making up the space tiles. What I like are the ones with a bit more detail. Ones like this where you've got a bit of a mast there and some rope and a section which looks like an oubliette, which is obviously a big hole in the ground. You chuck people in and stick a grate over the top if you want to forget about them. Yeah, and the entire centre portion of this board is one big metal grill right in the centre, which your players can actually fall into if they're not careful. And you got this nasty, bilgy, sludgy mess, which makes a big sort of puddle in the corner, where basically if you run through it, it slows your team down, and also the chance you might get eaten by the Kraken that lives underneath this. More on him later. And yeah, it's got a barrel floating in it. This is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful piece of terrain, and I'm really looking forward to having a huge sort of, I think it's 4x6 playing field, which is going to be huge. It's going to take ages to print, but I don't care because I'm absolutely looking forward to this. And yeah, these look brilliant. And my favourite one I've printed so far, this one here. It's a grill in the middle of the pitch, but it's got tentacles opening the grill and ready to come out. And they've also got one where, because you can pop that out and change it, they've got one which has Kraken tentacles coming out of it, which are actually a hazard on the course. So if you run past it and you roll badly, you may actually get dragged down into that and eaten by the Kraken, which is just absolutely great. I absolutely love that. As I say, this is a commission that somebody has sent me across, and I'm really, really looking forward to printing these out and hope that he really likes them. I stuck a link in the description below for the Kickstarter where he got these from. As I say, it's a commission for me to print them. I didn't buy these myself, and yeah, it's just purely I wanted to do a video on it, and he said it was fine for me doing a video on it while I made them, so that's very nice of him. And yeah, say links in the description below if you want to check out the Kickstarter. I haven't checked it out myself. I say I'm not backing it myself. This is just purely me doing a commission for somebody else. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to doing these, and it's going to be a great, great project. You may have noticed as well, I'm starting to do shorts. If you like the shorts, please give it a like, and please leave me a comment saying that you like the shorts. Not sure if I'm going to continue doing them or not, but apparently 20-second videos are the future. So yeah, if you like the shorts, let me know in the comments below and I'll continue doing them. Thanks for watching 3D Printed Soup. Stay happy, stay safe, keep blood bowling.